Good morning, Pastor Ron Jetter, Immanuel Lutheran Church, Grandview, Washington. It is Tuesday, the 19th of January, 2021. It is cold out today. As I was driving to the church, there was frost, and yet it was in the mid to high 40s yesterday. We took our dog out for a walk. We hope to do it again today. We try to do it as many days as possible. Walking, so important, getting fresh air, exercising. I was reflecting today, driving into the church, about seasons and how when I started as the interim, it was winter, but it was late winter. And so I didn't really think about the weather much. We worshiped together here in the sanctuary in early and mid-March, and I'm sure we had the heat on, but again, I didn't give a lot of thought to it because by April, when I started doing these daily messages, I was then in my home. We weren't using this building. I was coming here at Tuesday, and we were having coffee in the morning with the men every Tuesday. And then the seasons moved on. It got warm, and then we started having men's group at 8 o'clock instead of 9 o'clock because to get out there in the heat when the summer heat came was just too much. So we wanted to get outdoor stuff done early. And so summer came and summer went, and then it became fall and it cooled off and it was kind of nice, but we still weren't using the church. We had thought in the spring, by July we'll use the church, and by July we thought maybe August. Well, in fact, it was September 20. So basically the first day of autumn, we started worship. We went through the seasons of spring and of summer, not in this building at all. And then autumn, we were in here, and it was a small group. We've had as many as, I think, 17 on the day we had our meeting to vote on Pastor Jake, and as few as me and one other. And it's been somewhere in between, usually 5 or 6. But that by the time I'm finished with my interim on the 31st of January, that will be 20 Sundays in a row that we have made this space available to people while also not losing the congregation we bring along on Zoom, which was always our goal, to make sure that we are one Immanuel Lutheran Church, one people united together in Christ, one people serving God, one people discovering what our mission is, and then ready to hand the church and the ministry and the partnership over to the pastor with whom we will be in ministry partnership. Pastors do not do ministry on our behalf. They lead ministry with us, among us, not for us. They're not the paid prayer. They are the ones who encourage and guide us. And I hope that I've been encouraging and guiding you through Sunday worship, through Wednesday Bible study, through my daily messages. And again, there won't be a Wednesday message. There will be a 4 p.m. Bible study tomorrow, and then a Thursday message, and a Friday message, and a Saturday message. So 5 days a week for daily messages, a day a week for Bible study, and then a day a week for Sunday class and Sunday worship. For another 11, 12 days, 2 more Sundays, a couple more Wednesdays, and this week and next week. And then we'll see what Pastor Jake does to feed all of us, including me. I'm ready to say, okay, feed me too. Yeah, I enjoyed our bishop's sermon last Sunday simply because I need to be fed by something and someone else occasionally as well. Although people have said, why don't you just do it? Well, most of the time I just do it. But it is nice to hear from other voices. And I look forward to hearing from Pastor Jake Schumacher's voice. And I know you will too. Seasons and things that are seasonable or unseasonable. That's a lot of what kashrut means, this living in harmony with God and with God's ways and with creation, respecting the seasons, respecting the way things are done. Leviticus, the last 11 chapters, deal with this, helping the people to understand what this looks like in the flesh. For instance, we're still in chapter 19 and verse 19. This is interesting. You shall keep my statutes. You shall not let your animals breed with a different kind. You shall not sow a field with two kinds of seed. You shall not put a garment made of two different materials. That's not kosher. If you're going to wear a flax garment that is linen, wear linen. You don't have linen and cotton woven together. You don't have wool and cotton. You don't have two materials. None of this polyester, cotton, rayon blend stuff. No, not allowed. Why? Well, things age and shrink and expand at different rates, perhaps, and it wouldn't be as strong. I'm not sure. Two kinds of seed in a field. Well, it can produce hybrid things. Remember in Genesis, where Jacob purposely manipulated the flock of sheep so that there would be speckled sheep, because his uncle Laban says you can have all the ones that are speckled, but the ones that are pure white, pure brown, pure black, pure gray, those are mine. So Jacob, who was in charge of breeding, intentionally fooled his uncle. But they were all the same kind of animal, the same breed. So breeding genetic traits in and out of the same animal is one thing. Crossbreeding, not allowed. Yeah. Before that, just the verse above that, you shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge. You shall not hate anyone. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. We've heard that one before. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. You shall love the Lord your God from Exodus chapter 20. You shall love your neighbor as yourself from Leviticus 19. Pardon me. So Jesus takes these two and unites them. You can't love your God while despising your neighbor. You show your love for God through the love of your neighbor. They are connected. He does that in the first 5 books. They are in separate books, but they're still part of the same vision God has for how people can get along together. You shall not hate any in your heart of your kin. You shall reprove your neighbor. You shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against any of your people. Wow. And of course, Jesus then dealt with the question, who is my neighbor? Well, everyone. So who are we allowed to hate? Who are we allowed to vilify? No one. No one. It is ungodly, it is unkosher to hate another person for any reason whatsoever. Now, verse 23, this is interesting. When you come into the land and plant all kinds of trees for food, you shall regard their fruit as forbidden. 3 years it shall be forbidden for you. It must not be eaten. In the 4th year, all the fruit shall be set apart for rejoicing in the Lord. But in the 5th year, you may eat their fruit, and that their yield may be increased for you. So God is promising them, don't eat it. Wait until that tree matures, or that vine, whatever it is. We know from ag here in the valley that it takes a while for trees to really get into their maturity so that they're putting on the best fruit. What happens if you take that fruit before it's ready? Well, it can damage the tree. The 4th year, okay, take that and then dedicate it to God. Don't eat it. The 5th year, eat it. And the promise is you're going to have abundant crops from then after. Wow. 26, we get some assorted things. You shall not eat anything with blood. We've already heard that before. You drain the blood out of the meat first, and you definitely only have meat and milk together. You shall not practice augury or witchcraft. Augury. Yes. What is augury? Well, any of these arts that are designed to manipulate God or gods to try to change fortune. God is God, and God alone acts. And then, right after that, you shall not round off the hair on your temples or mar the edges of your beard. No mullets? I'm not sure. Is that a style of the people? It must have been Some of the other tribes had this certain kind of style. You shall not make any gashes in your flesh for the dead, or tattoo marks upon any of you. I am the Lord. You will not file off your teeth. These kinds of things. Wow. Yeah. So self-decorating, forbidden. Yeah, no tattoos, no earrings. Right, and definitely don't file notches in your teeth. Ouch. Some of these make sense. Some of them, obviously, we don't view them the same way. And that's why I say to take one verse of Leviticus and say, I'm going to use it to beat other people up, whereas I'm going to ignore the rest of it that applies to me. Yeah, not the way we use it. If there's one verse that stands out, it's this one. You shall love your neighbor as yourself, even if your neighbor has tattoos, even if your neighbor rounds off the beard, even if your neighbor plants their field with two kinds of seeds.